I'm 99 years old. I live alone. I don't take a single medicine. And no, this is not the beginning of some miracle story or a fancy headline made up to impress. This is simply the truth of my life. I have seen the world change before my eyes. From horses on the street to rockets in the sky. From handwritten letters to phones that talk back. I have buried friends, loved ones, and even dreams, but I have also lived, truly lived. And through it all, one thing has kept me going. My mornings, the quiet hours of the early day where I meet myself before the noise of the world takes over. You see, if you want to stay sharp at 99, you need to start with what you do when you open your eyes. Not what the doctor prescribes, not what the latest news says, but what your soul whispers when everything else is silent. There's no big secret or expensive formula behind it. Just 5 small morning habits that I've practiced for decades. Not perfectly, not with the discipline of a monk, but with the heart of someone who wants to keep waking up and feeling alive. I didn't design these habits with the intention to live this long. I simply did what felt right. But looking back now, I can see how these little rituals formed the backbone of my health. They grounded me when everything else shook. They reminded me that my body still has strength, that my mind still has light, and that age, as real as it is, doesn't have to be a death sentence to vitality. Each morning, before I do anything else, I sit in stillness. I wake up slowly. No alarm clock, no rush. I listen to the birds outside my window. I notice the way the morning light falls on the floor. I take deep breaths, long ones, as if I'm filling not just my lungs but my entire being with a reason to go on. You might call it meditation, but I just call it listening. Listening to life. Because in this age of noise, what we forget most often is the sound of ourselves. That sound, that quiet pulse within, has kept me centered. It tells me what I need. It reminds me of who I am. It calms my fears and lifts the fog that sometimes clouds my old mind. After that moment of stillness, I move. Nothing wild, nothing athletic, just movement. I stretch my arms, I roll my neck, I walk around my little home. Sometimes I go outside and let the sun touch my face. I do not chase fitness, I chase flow. At this age, it's not about building muscle. It's about reminding my body that it still belongs to me, that it can still bend, sway, twist, and breathe. You lose movement when you stop honoring it. So every morning, I thank my body with a simple dance of sorts. I let it know I haven't given up on it. And in return, it hasn't given up on me. Then comes my ritual with water. Warm water. A glass of it with a slice of lemon. That's it. No sugar, no tea bag, just water and lemon. It wakes my insides, flushes out what the night held on to. I imagine it washing away the rust. I imagine it cleaning the windows of my soul. It sounds silly perhaps, but at 99, you understand the value of simplicity. And this ritual, this easy act has kept my digestion smooth, my mind clear, and my spirit uplifted. I once read that the body is over 60% water, so I treat mine like a river. It needs to flow. And every morning, I help it begin again. The 4th habit is gratitude. Not spoken out loud, not written in a journal, just felt deeply. I look around and think about what I still have. My legs, my eyes, the warmth of the morning light, the memory of my daughter's laughter, the smell of old books stacked beside my bed. I have lost many things, more than I care to name. But I've learned that the secret to staying young is not in preserving what's gone. It's in embracing what remains. Gratitude has sharpened my memory. It has kept bitterness at bay. When you're 99, It's easy to feel forgotten, but gratitude reminds you that you're still here, and that here is still a gift. Lastly, I talk to myself, not in madness, but in compassion. I look in the mirror and say, "You made it. Let's try again today." It's not a motivational speech. It's a handshake with my reflection, a nod to my resilience, a promise that no matter how slow I walk, I will still move forward. Many people fear aging because they feel invisible, but every morning I make sure I am seen. If only by myself. That conversation sets the tone for my day. It gives me confidence. It anchors me. It's not vanity. It's acknowledgement. And acknowledgement, especially in old age, is nourishment. You might be wondering why these habits matter so much. Why not just sleep in, eat what you want, and let time do what it does? And the answer is simple, because I want to live, not just survive. I've seen too many people slowly fall apart, not because of illness, but because they stopped showing up for their own lives. They surrendered their mornings. They gave their first breath of the day to the television or to pills. But I chose a different path. I chose to honor the morning as sacred. And that decision, repeated day after day, became a quiet revolution inside me. There were days when I didn't feel like doing it, when my bones ached, when my dreams from the night before left me sad. But I still rose, slowly, gently, because habit is not about perfection. It's about return. Returning to what grounds you. Returning to what reminds you that you are still alive. Some people chase youth through products and surgeries. I chased it through presence, through breath, through water, through sunlight, through remembering the small joys that still live in this old, weathered frame. Doctors often ask me, "What's your secret?" And I tell them it's not a secret. It's a practice, a rhythm, a respect for the hours before the world starts spinning too fast. I've outlived many friends who had stronger bodies but weaker rituals. I've seen sharp minds go dull because they never exercised gratitude or silence. I don't say this with pride, I say it with humility. Because every day is still uncertain. I could fall, I could forget. But until that day comes, I will keep showing up for myself. I will keep doing these 5 things that require no money, no medicine, and no permission from the world. When I was young, I thought health was about strength. Now, I know it's about connection. Connection to the body, to the breath, to the earth, to the moment. My mornings are how I connect. They are how I say, I'm still here. They are how I tell my heart to keep beating, not just from duty, but from joy. There's a strange kind of wisdom that aging gives you. It strips away the noise, the comparisons, the illusions, and what's left is often simple, almost embarrassingly simple. Drink water, move, breathe, be grateful, be kind to yourself. If you're reading this and thinking, well, that's easy for you, let me tell you. It wasn't always easy. I've faced depression, loneliness, illness. I've had days when I couldn't remember why I should even get up. But the habit was already there, like a rope I had tied to myself in better times. And when darkness came, I just followed the rope. Back to the morning, back to the breath, back to the little rituals that didn't ask me to be perfect, just present. At 99, I don't chase happiness, I chase clarity, I chase peace, and these 5 morning habits bring me that every single day. They remind me that no matter what time has taken, I still have choice, I still have agency, I still have a way to begin again. You don't need to be old to understand this. You just need to decide that your mornings matter. that your life deserves a strong beginning. Not a rushed one, not a distracted one, but a sacred one. And once you decide that, everything changes. I'm not promising you immortality. I'm not saying you'll never get sick. I'm just telling you that there's another way to live. A way that honors the quiet power of repetition. A way that builds strength, not through force, but through love. I've lived long enough to know that the world will always be loud. But you get to choose what you hear first each day. You get to choose what you feed your mind and body before the world starts asking things from you. And if you choose wisely, as I did, you might just find yourself waking up one day at 99. Strong, clear, present, and smiling. So now the question is not whether you believe me, it's whether you're willing to try. Whether tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, you'll pause before you reach for your phone. Whether you'll breathe, move, sip water, give thanks. Look yourself in the eyes and say, let's try again. Because that, my friend, might just be the most powerful medicine you'll ever take. And the most beautiful part is, it costs nothing. It asks for nothing, but it gives you everything. One morning at a time.